Attention. Did we turn on that light? You want to turn that? There's like a little switch right there.
Yeah. You gotta add some.
Down the line. A button in the middle. You just press.
You gotta work for the podcast a little bit. So.
Yep.
That works good.
Yeah, look at you.
You don't have anything else you need to do?
You know what you're doing. Is this the bet?
What?
Is this the bet?
No.
Hey, I'm supposed to have something else to do?
Yeah. There's nothing else? You sure?
Something else. To get up again? I want to know what it is.
Hey, you're not a rookie here. Put this right here.
Hello? Hello?
You're sure there's nothing else that needs to be done?
At all.
Are you?
Hey, don't look over here. My shit's good.
Now I want to look over there.
No, my shit's good. There's nothing out there?
Out there that I need to do.
Before, you don't start this until you're sure.
Got the camera.
Go ahead and, well, start it. Go ahead and start it and then think about it.
Out there?
Yeah, start it.
Something we need out there?
I don't know. Did you get everything?
Are we even good here?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Did you fuck with something?
I'm asking you. Did you start?
I fucked with them. He fucks around.
A lot, but not right now.
You're not fucking around?
No. Oh, shit. There's no turning back now. You're fucked.
Okay.
That does have a good voice.
Yeah, he's got a really good one.
I hate my voice.
It's good.
I like it.
I hate it.
That's good.
And I can hear it in these headphones, and it's
Is it-
so annoying.
Is it too loud for you?
No, I'm fine.
Good. What about now?
That one's off, right?
No, I turned it on because I knew we'd have a fourth guest. You sure there's nothing you need to get out there?
Can you help me?
I can't.
This is
But you know?
Austin, this is the first time it's ever happened.
I want $5.
It's the first time.
We have a little backdoor deal here.
Mike always has to get up. I'm telling him.
Look at this bullshit.
What happened there?
Lost connection. But it's still going.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Because I still see.
We can't view it anyway.
Yours always does that.
It's something with the camera. It's not my phone.
It's some bullshit. Look, you see all these cracks on here?
This
has something to do with it, I'm sure.
That's the screen protector.
Yeah.
So
It's like that too.
we bet. Do you have a screen protector?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all cracked as well.
You bet that I was going to get something.
Yeah, you come in here and you have to leave one last time, usually.
I don't know.
Not today.
Not today.
You
but
took care of it all.
I like the phone cover.
Oh.
I thought it was real for a minute.
It's a conversation starter.
What did y'all do before I came over here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
All right, Austin. So what's your last name?
Parrish.
Parrish. And you're from Lake Jackson?
Lake Jackson.
Okay. So you're going to educate us on the drag lifestyle a little bit, huh?
I guess so.
So before we started talking, I didn't want to hear it. I wanted to hear it from him, not from Mike. Your drag lifestyle and you, basically two different people? Is that how it works?
I mean, to a degree. Cyn is, my drag name is Cyn City. Cyn is a character, I guess, that I've created. And when I first started, it was more of like just me in makeup. But as time progressed, it developed into a full-fledged character, I guess. A lot of people who know me really well both ways say that Cyn is totally different than Austin. So
How old were you? Sorry. How old were you when you started playing around with makeup and the drag lifestyle?
Playing around with makeup. I grew up doing a lot of community theater and stuff, and I was always really into the makeup and costuming and stuff like that. So as I grew older and got into the gay scene and stuff, I mean, theater and makeup and gay equals drag queen. So, I mean, it just kind of naturally progressed. I was an exchange student in the Netherlands, and that's where I saw my first ever drag show. And I remember, like, the next day after that drag show, I texted my mom, and I was like, when I get back, I'm going to do drag. And that was, like, a shock to her. And then I came back, I was 19, and that was the first time I went out in drag.
Wow.
Wow, your mom's really supportive. How was the beginning stages of that when you came back?
Well,
Uh-oh.
no, nothing bad. I'm just like, how do I? It was never being gay or doing drag was never an issue or never really a thing we even brought up because it was just like you are who you are. It was fine, whatever. I have my mom's sister is a lesbian. My dad had 2 gay brothers. Like I would like to say, it runs in the family. So it was less of like a I needed to come out or anything, and more of like a is it gonna be today? Like they were always like, maybe it'll be today. And I remember I was probably like 15, and I kept saying, "Oh, I'm bisexual." That's how it always starts. It's easier to ease into it. And then my mom was like, "Oh yeah, right." But when I went to the Netherlands probably one of the most like liberal, accepting countries in the world. And so there I really got to like find out who I was and stuff. And my mom knew that, and my dad knew that, and my family. And so when I came back, it was just like, this is the Austin that was meant to be. Like it was never a topic.
So how was it growing up in Lake Jackson or Texas in general, right? It's super conservative. Talking about gay didn't really become mainstream until like the last, 10 years maybe?
Yeah.
So how was that growing up in high school and just here in general?
I don't want to say it was easy. I did have a great family, a great support system. So it wasn't, like I said, it was never like a topic or anything that was frowned upon in my household. At school, of course, bullied growing up and stuff. I was always a little more feminine. Never wanted to play sports, though I have played every single sport you can probably think of, including fencing.
Oh, wow.
What?
Yeah. Swim team, baseball, basketball. No.
Oh.
Like growing up, I tried every sport because, your dad always wants you to be in sports when you're growing up. So I tried everything: wrestling, football, basketball, baseball, tennis, swim team, fencing, everything.
Jeez.
Is it a common thing? Is it normal to be gay and do drag, or are there straight people doing drag?
I do know of straight people who do drag. It's definitely more common for gay men.
Okay.
I also know like cisgendered women who do drag, and trans women who do drag, trans men who do drag, all kinds of it's drags for everyone.
Right. So what's the main purpose of drag? Is it just to provide a show? Like, walk us through that. Is it
drag in its core is an art form. And there's so many different facets of drag. There's a lot of people who do drag and it's more performance art. A lot of people who do drag that's comedy drag. A lot of people who do celebrity illusions, and that's drag as well. A lot of people who their main goal is to look like a cisgendered passable. I hate that word, but
Passable?
Yeah, it's a real big controversial word in the LGBT community.
Passable.
Because it's it roots to like who's the judge of what's passable and what's not. It's really a lot of people think it's kind of transphobic because it's a whole nother topic.
And remember, I'm stupid, so
cisgendered would be you present as the gender that you were born as.
Okay.
So how does that intertwine with
like what we do? Like if
yeah, you would be a cisgendered male.
Okay.
You were born a male and you present as a male.
Is cisgender short for something? Cis. I'm trying to understand cis.
I don't know.
We're kindergartens. We're kindergartens.
Now we know what it is, though.
Yeah, and if I ever say cis, that's what I mean, cisgender.
We're up to speed now.
Yeah.
I think he's had too much.
I know. There's a whole lot of. I feel like I feel like we're just gonna like scratch the surface. There's so much between drag and like LGBT issues and trans and all kinds of stuff that we could be here all day.
Oh, absolutely.
Stuff.
It's such. Go ahead.
Is drag accepted in the community?
Oh, for sure, for
It's
sure.
like for
I mean,
sure,
drag is drag is such a crucial part of the community.
Really?
I mean, you go all the way back to even like Stonewall and Marsha P. Johnson, a trans drag queen a black trans woman. I mean, throwing the first bricks and stuff. I mean, drag dates way back.
Wow. A lot of history, huh?
Yeah. So do you have to work your way up to become a performer, or do you sign up on these lists, or how does that become a thing?
Things have changed a lot since I started drag. When I first started, we had a club called Meteor in Houston, and on Thursday nights they did like an amateur drag show night, and basically it was like first come, first serve. You show up, get in your one costume, you write your name on a list, you have to be in line to turn your music in, and after like X amount of people, then you don't get to perform. So before the bar would even open, there would be like a line of ugly drag queens standing at the door waiting for their chance, because on Thursdays this small bar would get packed. Like, it was crazy. It would be shoulder to shoulder people just watching these, some good, but a lot of awful drag queens trying to find their way in the art form. And that's where I first started. I did my first show, and the way it would work is you would perform one number, and then each week there was like a lip sync song. So everyone who performed that night would come back at the end of the night. They would all perform the same song at the same time, and then the audience applause would pick the winner of that week, and that winner would get, you know, like $100 or something like that in a booking. And I remember the first time I performed, of course I brought my mom, all her friends, all the girls I grew up with, like just a huge amount of people. And I remember I went to the lip sync and I didn't know anything.
What was the song?
It was a girl fight. Who's even sings girl fight?
Is that Christina Aguilera? Is going to be a girl fight? I know.
No.
Beyonce.
No, it's one of those.
Going to be a girl fight.
Yes.
Anyways, we know this. We know this.
Yes. So, Brooke, is it something?
God, it's going to bug me the entire time.
I know. I
look it up on your phone real quick. It's going to be a girl fight.
I have to look.
I feel like it's a one-off.
It's like a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. It's like the bass is like real good, like
Brooke
boom.
Valentine.
There we go.
Right. I knew it was Brooke something.
I'm gonna put that on my running list.
Never got that.
No,
I'm glad you looked it up.
That was the song. I probably knew 15% of the lyrics, but I had so many people in the audience when it came time to vote. Oh, I won by audience applause, hands down. And I remember I was so mad because the host of the show, who's like a drag legend across the whole country, she wouldn't let me win because she's like, you didn't even know the song. How can I let you win even if you got all the audience applause? And I remember. So that's where I started, and I would keep going and going and going. And then there was a queen who was pretty well established in the Houston scene, and they were starting not a circuit party, but it was called Stripper Circus, and it was at South Beach, which at this time was the largest club in Houston, largest dance club. And it was just like a theme party. It was all circus themed, go-go boys and carnival games and stuff. And she was casting drag queens to work these carnival games every Friday night. And I remember I was like, this is my chance. Like, I'm going to get my first job in drag, whatever. So I remember I came to the Thursday night amateur show in full, like, clown makeup, like a whole clown costume kind of thing. Of course, it was really pretty and sexy clown, but full makeup and hair and everything. I was like, this is gonna be like my audition or whatever. And I remember texting her and telling her, oh, I'm gonna come in my look that I'm gonna do for this. This is before she even hired me. And so I remember I did, and she saw me, and she ended up hiring me for Stripper Circus, and that kind of like opened the doors for everything.
So people are making really good money doing this. Sounds like.
That's a whole nother topic.
Is it not something you can live on, or do people have?
You can, and a lot of people do. It's not cheap. Well, it can be cheap. It's not cheap to do it well, which is also debatable for some people. In Texas, it's not cheap to do it well. Texas has a very, very high standard of drag. we're considered one of like the largest like pageant drag states.
You would never guess. I would never guess that.
Yeah, for Texas, no.
Such a conservative state.
It's one of the. I mean, you can ask any drag queen across the U.S. like who has the best pageant drag. It's either going to be Texas or Florida. Like,
I imagine Florida.
The two most conservative states too.
Oh yeah, and drag goes way back here. Sorry, we have some of the biggest like drag legends and drag pageant legends like retired and living here in Texas. It's crazy.
Retired. How old are they?
Old.
What is the like retirement age of a drag queen?
Well, it depends. I mean, if they did other jobs as well. I know we have a couple queens in their like late 60s, early 70s doing drag here in Houston.
Yeah.
It's so I don't want to say names because I don't want to know. I'm not for sure how old one of them is, but she's probably the oldest here in Houston. Yeah.
The costumes look so real. You sent me some videos last night, and I really thought it was a female out there dancing. Like, how did they get it to look so real?
The one with the
get what to look real?
Versace bands.
Oh,
that's an attachment, right?
It looks like real boobs, and
we call them breastplates. They're like basically like a bib, like a baby's bib, but with silicone breasts on it. Oh. It hooks around your neck like a necklace, and then it's
so it matches the skin tone and all that.
Well,
sort of.
You have to put makeup on like your arms and stuff.
Well, you would normally you would put like your face makeup on there, and she gets real naked though.
Yeah, she can dance really well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of difference. So we went to the show last night. You invited me like 2 hours before.
I know,
but I wanted to see you in action.
I was like sitting there getting ready, and I was like, I mean, Rose Sharon can't be that far.
It wasn't too bad.
So I was like, let's go. Like, so I texted you, whatever. I was like, it was fun. It was weird though, because our first 3 shows there were like wall to wall packed, and the last show we did there was like our busiest show ever. And then last night I was like, me.
What about y'all went on a Friday? Do y'all do Saturdays over there?
No, we were there on a Thursday. Today's Friday.
Oh my gosh,
he always does that. Days. He's very.
Don't listen to me about anything.
Normally I do. Normally my shows that aren't in Houston, I normally do on Thursdays because Friday, Saturday, Sunday is Houston.
Really?
Are you doing shows every week?
Yeah.
Really? So every week, 365.
For the most part, if I want a weekend off, I have to schedule myself off.
Because you're kind of the facilitator, right? You're you run the show.
Well,
much.
For Thursdays, yeah. In Friendswood and Lake Jackson, it's all me. I book all the girls, pay all the girls, host the shows, promos, everything.
You're pretty funny.
I would like to think so.
What is your angle there? I mean, I was trying to figure out your comedic style. You just kind of say the things that you see, and
yeah, it's very. I guess it's a lot of improv because it has to do with the audience's response, and last night was probably not the best judge of my hosting skills, but it was still fun. The audience response has a lot to do with it, who's in the audience, how they're interacting. It can either be really great or really awful.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of insult comic, a lot of improv.
Observational comedy, yeah.
That kind of stuff.
I love Cyn was there was a girl getting rowdy in the audience and was going to come up to the front, and she said, "You better chill out, because I'm still a man. Like, and I'll kick your ass or some shit."
They get
it's funny as hell.
I don't know, the people as the night goes on at shows, they just get worse and worse, and they get touchier, like handsier and handsier. I'm like, oh my gosh, please stop touching me.
How has the recent culture with LGBTQ and all the recent news within Trump being president and all that stuff, how has that played into the drag culture?
That's a good question.
Does LGBTQ help the culture? Does their movement kind of help shine light on it in a positive way, or does it hurt more?
For drag?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, drag's never going to go anywhere. I mean, no matter who's president, what's going on, drag will always be there. To be 100% honest, most of the shows I do are not even at gay bars. Like, my crowds are usually 80% straight 9 times out of 10.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm doing shows at a wine bar in Lake Jackson, a wine bar in Friendswood, Bohem, which is technically a straight bar, which still is in Montrose, but that's my brunch show every Sunday, where we do 2 shows every Sunday, and each crowd is 300 plus people. I mean, so
Whoa.
we're seeing 700 people every Sunday for brunch, and most of them are straight.
That's amazing because it's from here. Like, this is the most southern as you can get. Like, I feel like most people would be
But
closed-minded to that.
With like, drag is, I hate to say mainstream now, but it's everywhere. I mean, we have RuPaul's Drag Race. I mean, drag on commercials, drag in movies, drag in TV shows. Like, it's everywhere these days. I feel like it's just so in your face, and everyone wants to come watch the clown show, which, as bad as that sounds, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people come with that mentality of, let's go to the freak show, the circus, and end up loving drag and enjoying it a lot more than they thought they would. And then we have repeat customers after that.
Right, yeah, having a good time, experiencing something new. That happens all the time. Mike will show me something new, and I end up loving it, and then I want to go back over and over again.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, what's not to love about alcohol?
What was that?
Don't move. Continue. That was my door locking.
Oh, it's kind of scared me.
It should.
I mean, it's alcohol, which is a base of most people's existence. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh, it
Everybody
is.
loves
Never touched this stuff.
Everybody loves alcohol. It's alcohol. It's got performance, dancing. It's got makeup, costumes. I mean, the only difference is there's a man underneath it. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, a lot of times you can't even tell. So, then you've got the comedy, the hosting, the fun of it. We play games, we dance. It's a fun time. It's a party.
How do you go out and find these establishments? Do you just cold call, or you go to them in person and say, hey, I got this gig?
Well, like in Lake Jackson, the owner, Autumn, was friends with my mom before she even opened Wine Review. She was a family friend. And then I was getting ready to go compete at Nationals for Miss US of A Newcomer. And I wanted to do a fundraiser show kind of thing. And so she was like, we'll have it at my bar. And so we did the first show there. And that was that was all a fundraiser for me. That wasn't this normal show we do now. And it was so busy. She was like, oh, we have to do a show here. And I was like, okay. So as soon as I got back from Nationals, we did the first show. And that was over 2 years ago now.
Wow.
And we've been doing it ever since. And it's been sold out ever since.
That's crazy. It gave you a boost of confidence, huh?
We sell, she will post the show and that tickets are on sale. And within an hour, we're sold out every time.
Wow.
For the wine review?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get into that. My sister goes and watch. I haven't watched that show yet.
I know you're not a very good supporter or fan.
Well, I came out last minute.
Oh, yesterday.
Last night.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
You're friends on Facebook. You don't see my events?
We just
He's
became
lying.
friends. Are y'all attacking me?
Yeah.
No,
I feel
never.
like I'm getting attacked.
Me and Austin are on the same page.
Yeah, different book. Anyways, so wine review. It was a little controversial at first, right?
Oh my gosh.
I want to hear this.
Well, when I used to do a show in downtown Houston at an establishment called Prohibition,
Okay.
which was a burlesque dinner theater kind of place. So you would come, have dinner, drinks, and watch some of the best burlesque in the state of Texas. And so when I first started the show, it was me, 2 other drag queens, and I always brought one of my burlesque entertainers down because Autumn, when she started Wine Review, they call that back patio the secret garden, and she always had this idea of having burlesque dancers in the secret garden. So when I started the show, I always brought one of my burlesque girls down. Well, as you can imagine, in very conservative Lake Jackson, a beautiful woman taking her clothes off very artistically was not well received by the city of Lake Jackson. Now, the people at the show was their favorite part, but the city officials had a lot more to say about it than the people there. So then some crazy city ordinance magically appears where you can't show skin X amount of space above the areola or an X amount of space below the areola, blah, blah, blah. So basically she can't go down to pasties, which is like the whole point of burlesque.
Right.
I mean, that's like the end. That's the cherry on top is when the bra,
Literally.
when the bra comes off and it's the pasties. That's my favorite part of burlesque. And so they tried to get Autumn shut down. They would send in code enforcement to our shows. They would send the fire marshal to our shows. They would talk about us at city council meetings. It was bad. And we just kept doing it. We just kept going, kept doing it. We would tell her she can't go down to pasties, but she would still get as naked as she could. She would find the tiniest panties and be like, well, I can't go down to pasties. All right, I guess I'll get even smaller underwear.
Wow.
Like, she would do anything she could, or she would have, like, the exact measurement around, like, it was... We're not breaking any rules.
Yeah, you're really pushing it.
We were pushing it as far as we could just to show them we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
And like, I would bring like, this is really bad, but it's how petty I am. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, say it.
Oh, come on.
No,
now.
I'm gonna get in trouble with the trans community if I did. But like my drag mother is trans. And so, I would have her in the show and I would have her like, full like breasts out, and they would no, I can't.
Don't say it if you're not gonna if you don't want to.
Basically though, if anyone came to say anything, I mean, what are they gonna say? Her license says one thing even if she looks like something else. So right. I mean, we got away with full breasts hanging out and nobody could say anything.
Were they questioning the city officials?
Always. I mean, they would say everything.
What was happening?
They just didn't want, I mean, at the end of the day, it was like, we don't want this gay shit here. Basically is what it was. But here we are over 2 years later, and the most successful thing in Lake Jackson, in my opinion.
By far. It got out, though, because of like Facebook videos or something, right?
Yes.
Because no one was there complaining.
People were
right?
posting. Nobody there was complaining about the burlesque. It was from like Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, like videos of my burlesque girls. So like when it first started and like we got issues from it, we would make everyone like put their phones away when my burlesque girls would come out. I would make them put their phones away. They had to like put their arms down. Yeah, because I was like, if y'all want to see this, because they kept getting mad if I would not have a girl there. And so I was like, well, if y'all want to see this, then you have to put your phones away and put your arms down. Like, I need to know you're not doing anything, because if this shit gets out, then, I mean, I can't keep having these girls. She can lose her liquor license, like, or wine license, whatever.
That's so crazy to me, because you go to HEB and you see half naked women there all the time, like dressed.
Yes,
what HEB are you going to?
It has to do
Lake
with
Jackson?
It has to do with the sale of alcohol and the. There's some wording to it, but it has to do with like what you're doing in your bar and basically the amount of nudity with the sale of alcohol. You have to have a totally different license for it.
It's like a ratio, like just like with
It's
considering if
like,
a bar and you sell just amount of
that's why
like restaurant and bar.
That's why
difference.
like a lot of strip clubs are like BYOB and stuff like that, because you have to have a whole different type of license to have liquor and
full
strippers
nudity
in the same area. Yeah.
That stuff has to be on the verge of changing, though.
You would think.
Yeah, it's coming around.
Yeah, it's very like, I mean, we all have bodies.
Yeah.
And they don't all look the same, but parts of them are all the same.
It's crazy that, I could go in there shirtless and probably be okay.
I mean, I encourage that in my shows. I make people take
Count
their
me in
shirts
there,
off
then.
all the time.
I wouldn't encourage him to do that. But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's crazy though.
It's good that though where you're at now, it sounds like it's calmed down a little bit.
Oh, I don't have a burlesque girl in my show anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Did they win?
I don't want to say that they won, but it kind of just got to be such a headache going back and forth with them. And I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted to make money, so they were messing with my money, and I will do what I have to make my money.
Yeah. So you just do it in Houston now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
And there's no camera still allowed at Wine Video?
There is now.
Yeah, because y'all's beginning little intro thing was pretty hilarious. The little sound, like last night you played like a little intro.
Oh yeah,
like of the rules or whatever.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and as far as taking photos, it's like
Yes.
take as many as you freaking
Basically,
want.
it's like I didn't spend all this time getting ready for you to not take photos. You better take photos, otherwise, what's the point?
How long is it taking you to get ready for a show?
Uh-oh.
How long does it normally take me, or how long do I like to take?
Well,
I
both.
normally allot myself an hour and a half when I start my makeup to leaving the house, but I typically do my makeup in like an hour plus some like wine breaks.
You gotta calculate.
I know. I gotta have this glass of wine. You could probably start a business doing like makeup for brides and stuff for weddings around here.
That's a whole nother story. I used to be a manager of Sephora for like total of probably like 4 years.
Yeah.
I used to work for Sephora in Lake Jackson. I used to do makeup. When I first moved to Houston, I was an artist for Urban Decay, which probably means nothing to y'all, but
I know what that is.
you do? Yeah, I was an artist for Urban Decay when I first moved to Houston, and then when I started doing drag full time, I quit. But I don't do drag full time anymore. Well, for a lot of people, I do drag full time, but I also have a full time day job as well.
Do you do stuff all around Texas, or is it mainly Lake Jackson, Houston? Do you go to Austin?
Yeah, I've performed in Austin. The drag in Austin is a lot different than Houston. I don't want to say anything where the Austin girls get mad, but they can attest to it as well. It's just a lot different in Austin.
Okay.
I heard you're pretty popular.
In what way?
I met a drag queen. I went to one other show before last night, and it was at Rich's in Houston.
Yeah.
Remember Rich's?
I used to work there.
Yeah, and I asked someone. It's right after I met.
Were
your
you
mom.
there when I was performing?
I wonder. I don't know.
You had to have been, because they all came over one night and I was doing a number, and I think they were already drunk. They were in Houston for something else, and I think I convinced my mom to come over to Rich's to watch me do like a number downstairs real fast or something. You were probably there.
I don't know. It was right after I met your mom, and then I asked one of the girls if they knew you, and they're like, "Oh yeah, she's popular." So I don't know if you were there, because she would have.
It's very my mom though to be like, just met someone, like, come to this drag show.
What's your favorite place to perform in? You don't like Austin. I figured you would like Austin.
Yeah,
I thought
favorite city to perform in.
Yeah,
Bar.
city,
name, you know?
city, yeah.
Oh, Houston.
Really? Okay.
I love Houston. I mean, that's where I started. That's where I do everything. I love Lake Jackson. It's one of my favorite shows. The people are just so great because, I mean, they're paying a nice ticket price to sit there and watch the show. So everyone who's there wants to be there, which totally makes a difference in like how the show runs. Because a lot of times when I do shows at bars where people aren't paying to be there, I mean, it's just people who are like, ugh, we just came to get a drink. Why is there a drag show? You know?
Right.
Not everyone, but there are those people, and it just changes the dynamic of the audience at shows and stuff. So I love the audience in Lake Jackson. I love performing in Lake Jackson, but I love Houston. I love my brunch show at Bohem. It's probably my favorite show.
People were talking about that at the wine place. Like, they were like,
I know. I wasn't
like,
even expecting. Someone said something about, oh, the people right behind you.
Yeah,
they were like,
when
are you going to be at Bohem again? And I'm like, every Sunday.
Yeah, and you saying that, I was like, dang, that's consistency. But
well, we used to be. That's a whole nother show that I've put a lot of love and dedication into. It's not my show; it's my roommate's show technically. But I've been there for over 6 years now. We've been doing that show, and when we first started 6 years ago, we were the only drag brunch show in Houston. And when we first started, it probably sat like 100 people. Their patio was like real small. And then as we grew big, and there was only 3 of us on the show, and then we got bigger and bigger. We started, we probably went for a year without like a sold out show, which is crazy that the bar continued to pay us and have this show without sold out shows. And as it kept going and growing, they added a 4th girl, and then they expanded their patio to what it is now, which holds like 320 or something like that.
Jeez.
Seated, fully seated. We also do shows where we have standing room, and then we're at like 400 people. That's like Pride and stuff like that, where you literally just can't see anyone, like can't see anything, can't see the floor. But they expanded their patio, and we were still at once a month. It got crazy, so we went to twice a month. We were the second and last Sunday of every month. And then we were doing drag bingo on the other Sundays, just to keep people engaged that we were there and stuff. Well, it started getting so crazy after like COVID restrictions kind of went up. Bingo started getting nuts. We used to not perform at bingo; we would just play bingo. But then bingo started getting so busy with everyone getting like vaccinated, more comfortable and stuff like that, we started performing there. Well, once we started performing at bingo, they were like, well, I guess we'll just start our shows back, because we stopped shows altogether during the pandemic. We were only doing bingo. And once we started our shows back, it was such a hit. They were like, okay, every Sunday until further notice. And we're like, what? So we started doing it every Sunday. And then they were like, there's just so many people that want to come. We're going to do 2 shows every Sunday. And we were like, what? So it went from us having to be there at like 11 to now we have to be there at 10 in the morning, fully ready to go. They let people in at 10:45. I did pre-show at 11:15. Show starts at 11:30. We do 11:30 to 1:30. We get an hour off. We do another show at 2:30 to 4:30, and then I go home. So I've been in, my alarm for Sundays goes off at 7:30, and I get in drag, and I don't usually get home till like 5:30 or 6.
You look real excited about it. Like, this is turning into a job, huh?
It's a really long day.
Yeah.
It's a very long day, and it's outside.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the summer heat.
Yeah, with all the makeup.
It's awful.
Why are most of the shows on patios?
You gotta hold more people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. Yeah. I don't know. It's just easier.
But, man, with makeup and all that, even last night, there's no wind.
No,
it was awful. Like 90 degrees at night.
Well, and Bohem, if you've, I guess y'all have never been there, it's all like, there, no wind can get through it all. It's all walls and containers and stuff. It's just like a compound back there. And if you don't know it's back there, you would never know how big it is. And yeah, we get zero wind back there. They have these huge fans everywhere that do nothing.
Just hot air moving hot air
Yes,
around.
it's so awful.
How has drag transformed over the last decade? Has it changed at all from the show style with technology coming on board now?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there a lot. Like with RuPaul's Drag Race and drag becoming more mainstream and stuff like that. I mean, you have a lot more people who have access to like YouTube and stuff like that, who, I mean, have practiced their makeup at home from YouTube videos and come out for their first time in drag, and they're beautiful. Yeah. And I'm like, everyone I grew up with doing drag, we were awful. We were hideous when we started. And I feel like it's such a like a rite of passage. You have to be ugly when you start. So I get so mad. But like it's changed the shows a lot, as in styles, just like what's in style. I mean, we talk about like old school drag a lot, which is all the rhinestones and beads and jewelry and big hair and stuff like that, which is still very prevalent in the drag community. But there's also the new school of drag, which is more like fashion forward and more like fashion moments and less like the traditional drag silhouette and stuff like that. So I think it's become a great melting pot of styles since drag has kind of moved into that mainstream.
Interesting.
There are a bunch of stuff. Yeah, because the traditional. It was almost like it was kind of the thing to be a little scary looking too, right? Or bad, like poor quality. It was like emphasized, but now it's
call that camp. Camp, like a campy queen. They're not bad. Overemphasized is a great word.
Yeah.
But it's kind of their shtick, you know.
Yeah.
It's
the big makeup that's kind of like red all the way
big,
around.
quick makeup. They're normally pretty hilarious. Like
it helps with comedy probably too.
For sure.
To not be taken too serious.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like a thing that a lot of people are caught off guard with me is like a lot of people see me and they're, oh my God, she's so beautiful. And then I like start on the microphone and they're like, oh my God, she cusses like a sailor. She has such a potty mouth and like
she's bad.
Yeah, I am kind of. Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Even my mom, she doesn't get embarrassed, but sometimes she's like, oh damn. Some stuff that
who did I raise?
Yeah, some stuff that comes out. Well, and then I look at her and I'm like, really?
Yeah, you're one to talk, woman.
Yeah, very that.
You mentioned makeup on the internet. There's that guy my daughters watch, Charlie. Is that ring a bell?
Charles.
James Charles. Yeah, they watch that guy. You don't like him?
It's just
he's
very
fake. Is he
controversial subject right now?
Oh, why is that?
Because
oh no,
what happened?
Too mainstream?
No, he came.
What's he doing?
There was some stuff that surfaced of him, like I don't know what to call it. Kind of baiting these very underage boys.
Is he gay?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it wasn't, it was just a big.
That's crazy because that dude's, I mean, he has his own makeup. I imagine he's a millionaire,
He
right?
disappeared for like a month and then just magically reappeared like nothing happened.
Hey guys, I'm back.
It was very that, and still has 24 million subscribers.
Yeah. You got a big channel.
He's a multimillionaire for sure.
Yeah. And RuPaul, right? That's how you say it. Mm-hmm. That's like the most iconic figure in the game, or
to straight
is
people,
she respected
probably
in the community, or is it like a sellout type thing now?
Yes and no. She's very controversial as well. She owns a ranch, and she's big on. They always make fun of her because she is very pro fracking.
Oh wow, it gets deep, huh?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well,
there's layers, man.
She's making money from it on her ranch. She has a ranch. She has a husband who's from Australia or something. They own a ranch in like Utah or Wyoming or something like that. And yeah, I guess they have oil and stuff.
They need some more money, huh?
Yeah, she is that's a big controversial thing for us. But also it's a lot of people do like her, and for I guess the normal person who doesn't really know drag, that's probably one of your only like references of drag is RuPaul, or like maybe Divine or Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh wow! If you watch like Birdcage or something like that, if you've ever seen Birdcage.
Mrs. Doubtfire. We're not talking about the.
We're not talking about the movie, right?
We're not talking about.
I mean, she would be considered a drag queen.
Oh really?
She's a man in drag, right?
Robin
so
Williams,
so anyone?
Robin Williams.
Oh man, that's awesome.
He was doing drag for the
did
movie,
a good job.
Right? Right? That's drag, is it?
I'm gonna go watch that movie now.
Yeah. Is it not?
I would watch.
Tuong Fu.
Yeah.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Like, I mean, all of those.
Have you? Go ahead.
Those are probably your only references to drag, I would say.
I've been to a show, 2 shows now.
Oh yeah.
Well, have you been hit on?
You watched me at Riches and don't remember.
Whatever.
Have you been
make fun of people
out in public, outside of the drag show, and been hit on by straight men?
In drag?
Yeah, but while thinking that you're, while you're dressed up as a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you handle those situations?
Do you go along with
it? All the time.
Yeah. Do you really?
Yeah. I love to tease them and lead them on, and then we just leave. Yeah.
Oh my
God, it goes all the time.
But you're never in drag outside of a drag show, right?
No. I don't live my life.
That's not a thing to go out in public and drag, but not in a drag show.
Yeah, we call it tipping. Like
There's so many words, man.
Yeah.
I need to write these things down. Get the notebook
a drag
back out here.
vocabulary. We
You
call
need
it
to.
tipping. We tip around in drag, but
Yeah.
normally we're like bar hopping or like going to an event. Like there's an event later in the night and we go out before that.
Yeah.
But we want to go to the event in drag, so we go tipping before. Yeah.
That sounds like it'd be a good time. Like you can almost get with the
Oh,
clubs and be
yeah.
like, hey, we're going to stop by and bar hop.
Oh, they know. They take care of us while we're there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's like a service industry type
for sure.
stuff. That's
And
crazy.
especially when you work at like all the bars, like a lot of us, well, the people I hang out with, we work at all the bars mainly. So we always get taken care of. I can't remember. No, that's a really bad thing to say.
Say it.
I was going to say I can't remember the last time I've paid for a drink.
That's awesome. Well, yeah.
But it's because it's not like in a bad way. It's like I know so many people out, and whenever we walk in bars, we're kind of like local celebrities in a sense that like everyone wants our attention when we get there. So it's kind of like, oh, I know how to get her attention. Let me buy her a drink kind of thing, you know? And so it works out in our favor.
What's the drink of choice?
Mine.
Yeah.
Usually just like a vodka soda, vodka cranberry,
All right, so people know
Deep
now.
Betty lemon and Sprite.
You gotta watch out, right? Because people can't just be buying you drinks and bringing because you don't know if they're doing something.
Free drugs.
bring on the drugs.
Go on.
I always joke too. I'm like, you didn't roofie me, did you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, damn.
Bring me another one.
You should have.
You just gotta watch out though, because Courtney was watching you yesterday.
The
like,
gays don't give away drugs for free.
No.
Hell no.
We all going to straight
They'll
bars.
sell them to you.
They'll go to straight bars.
Yeah, at straight bars they will. But I mean, yeah, they're drugging people at straight bars. At gay bars, they're not drugging nobody. No, most of the guys there are already whores. You don't have to drug someone to have sex with them. You don't have to drug them to have sex with them.
Not at Rich's.
The other part of them are wanting to buy drugs, so they'll sell you the drugs before they give it to you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, do you want this drink?
Yeah.
It's gonna be $85, but
Yeah.
$85.
Yeah.
How is the culture in the bars? Is it more receptive? People having more fun in the gay bars compared to a straight bar?
I think they both have their similarities, but they also have their differences. I would like to say it's a lot less pretentious, but then I start to think, and I'm like, no, it's still pretty pretentious. It's the same things basically, but translated into men. And I would say they're a lot more fun. I hate going to straight bars, but not because of straight people, but because y'all's drinks are so expensive.
Oh, I asked because we had a
I mean, I can't get a vodka soda for $2 at a straight bar.
You can
Hell
get
no.
I need to go to the gay bar then.
We used to have a bar that did $1 vodka sundaes.
Wow.
It was great. But a typical,
it's got to be shit vodka though.
I mean,
Vodka,
it's $1,
right?
Well, it's $1.
That sounds like a headache.
Yeah. But I mean, y'all's drinks are so expensive at straight bars. I just don't understand.
We had an author on, Ashley Renard, and her husband were swingers, or they were in the swing
Love
lifestyle. She mentioned in her book and also on the podcast that the swing lifestyle, the bars were a lot more receptive. Like women weren't competing with each other; their men were gentlemen. So that's why I asked you how the culture in a gay bar or
Disgusting.
really
Yeah.
just
We're
sex.
just a bunch of just like carnal men. Like everyone there is either looking to get drunk, to have sex, to do drugs, or all of the above.
Yeah.
Like simultaneously. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's like, to me, a lot of the gay bars are just like men like pursuing their natural desires. I don't know. I mean, of course, there are some gay bars where it's, more of a lounge, social kind of vibe, chill vibes. We have like sports bar kind of gay bars. We have leather bars. We have normal bars. I don't know what you call normal, but I mean, there's all different kind of places for, I guess, what kind of vibe you're going for.
Does monogamy exist in the gay community? Or because it sounds like there's just a big orgy going on in these bars.
There is, but no, some of them.
Tough question.
Monogamy does exist and is important for a lot of people in the gay community, but also being poly is one of those things that's like a hot topic right now within the gay community. I guess because of like what I said, that like carnal desire, that natural like want to
Experiment,
reproduce or have sex. It leads to a lot of like open relationships in gay men, because I mean, to a lot of men in open relationships, they're both having that desire. Yes, they can come home and be together and love each other, but they also have more needs that they want fulfilled by other people than what just one person can give, I guess.
Yeah. That's tough too for heterosexuals,
I
because
was in a 3-way relationship
Were
for
you?
a long time.
how was that?
For a year and a half, almost 2 years.
How was jealousy with that?
That's what broke us up.
Inevitably, right?
Yeah.
One person's getting more attention.
Yeah. There's this a whole nother story to that. No, I won't go into that.
In the gay community, what needs do you feel like the culture's improving in the gay community, or what strides need to happen to make things better or more acceptive in the gay community? Do you feel like it is improving, like compared to 10 years ago? No one even, coming out of the closet was the phrase, and now
I don't want to say that it's improving within the gay community. I believe the relationship between the LGBTQ community and the rest of the world is more seen.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but in the LGBT community, my experience personally, I don't want to say it's improving. I mean, nothing's getting worse, but there's no one actively creating a better experience for the gay male or the lesbian woman or whatever.
Right. I think like for Mexican culture or something, if there's a lot of activism going on, I feel like that's keeping the fire stoked when it doesn't need to be stoked. So I don't know if you experienced that for the gay community.
I mean, there's still tons of LGBT issues that need help, and yeah, people are still stoking that fire per se, which is great and needs to continue to happen. I mean, we're still an oppressed community, you could say.
Yeah. So let's get into that. What, the company that we work for, it's in Facebook, Google, all of them, we're, being inclusive is like a phrase. Companies are having goals for employees to be inclusive. What else needs to be improved on? What other areas? If you had a magic wand and you said this needs to happen, what would that be?
It's such a loaded question. I guess ultimately it sounds so weird to say, I just wish we would all treat people like people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I applaud, like you said, your company saying we want to be inclusive and blah, blah, blah. And to me, we see it a lot in Pride Month, where companies are basically like, you're gay, you get $5,000. It's like gay, gay, gay. And I'm like, y'all doing this is like too much. Why don't you just pay everyone the same amount, encourage a safe, inclusive workspace, and we just go on about our day being normal humans? Stop bringing so much attention to us. At the end of the day, we're still people. We're still normal people that go home, have a husband or wife and kids or no kids or a dog, and do what we do. You know.
Yeah, isn't that that's kind of asinine that there's a Pride? You only get 1 month. Right. Yeah. Or even, African American month, you only get 1 month. Right.
Yeah.
Students are only learning about that for 1 month. Why not do it the entire year? You know what I mean?
Well, to me, I'm not gonna complain about our 1 month. It's like my biggest moneymaker month.
Love it.
Keep coming.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, go Pride. Can we have another month?
So, but imagine though, that's just you. You're experiencing a lot of growth and revenue in 1 month. So it's got to be tied to money on the larger scale, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, capitalism.
Yeah.
Yes,
Love it.
go capitalism. It's always about the money at the end of the day. That's really what it is, I would say. But it's one of those things where I guess it's kind of like, it's nice to remember where you came from or whatever, kind of pay homage to the people before you. There's a lot of stuff that the LGBT community has gone through to get where we are today, and a lot of death, a lot of sadness, a lot of heartache and stuff like that. So I guess it's nice to at least have that 1 month to really shine a light on all those things and all those people before us. But it's something to me that needs to, I think it should be part of history books and stuff like that. As well as Black History Month, I believe there should be a lot more in our history books about all the African American people before us that have made a lot of amazing contributions to our society and stuff like that. I think we fall short on a lot of things in the U.S.
Yeah.
I think I'm sure you know it, but I mean, just going to wine venue and doing little things like that or big things like that is making it more acceptable in like Jackson. Like your influence is making everything more, For sure. I would have never, I would think that's 10 years from now having something like that over there. But
for a lot of people that come to my shows in Lake Jackson, it's not only their first time like seeing a drag show. For some of them, it's their first time seeing a gay person, which even in 2021 is crazy to think about. But I mean, I grew up in that city and I don't doubt it, So I mean, even just my small little 3-hour show once a month or twice a month, it could change someone's life. I mean, if they have the time of their life and they associate that with a gay person or a drag queen or whatever, their view starts to change on those kind of things. No, they might still go home and never mind.
It was coming. I was like,
oh man.
I cut myself off on that one.
Take a drink.
That facilitator's coming out.
He pours it on him. Oh, that's funny. No, that's good though. More people like you are needed, pioneering this culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a good thing. And your thought process on we're all just people and no one is more special than the other. That's very good.
That's like my biggest thing. Like trans issues are a really big thing right now, and everyone always they want to like change things to like include trans women or include trans men and stuff like that. And I'm as big a supporter as I am for the LGBT community. My thing is like, stop bringing attention to it and just treat people like people. At the end of the day, a trans man or a trans woman, all they want to do is live their life as a man or a woman, whatever it is that they are and identify with, and they just want to live their life. Like, stop bringing attention to it. Just treat people like people.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thought on that. What's your thoughts on mandating or a trans man competing in a woman's event? Or what's your thoughts on that?
That would never happen. The trans man would not compete in a woman. A trans man,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
A trans woman competing in a woman's event. It's a very hot topic that I don't. It's not that I don't want to speak about it. I don't know. My roommate's trans and has been transitioning for a year and a half, has been on hormones for a year and a half or two. But that's not only hormones, that's T blockers as well. I mean, your whole body changes. To me, knowing the surface of the science behind transitioning, they're at more of a disadvantage than the women who've been training their whole life for that. To be honest, the women who've been training, the cisgendered women who have been training their whole life for a sport, know their body, have trained their muscles, have been living in that body their whole life.
Yeah.
The trans women who get on hormones and T-blockers, your muscle composition changes, the way fat is stored in your body changes, everything changes. I mean, your testosterone, the way you're basically stopping testosterone. Even cisgender women produce testosterone.
Right.
The levels are just different. So, I mean, to me, it's crazy to think that a woman who's taking hormones and T-blockers, that you wouldn't, to me, they're at a disadvantage. So
That's interesting.
in my opinion, let them go, you know?
Okay.
Now, someone who might not be on hormones or T-blockers, but is a trans woman, I mean, that's a whole nother story, and it's not in my place to say, I would say, but at the end of the day, that's what I still believe in. Treat people like people, and all they want to do is live their life, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, that's there's a lot of nuance there. If someone is just claiming to be a certain, but not going through that.
Let me tell you, if you're trans, no one is just claiming to be another gender. The heartache and trials and everything you have to go through to be trans, I promise you, it's the same thing with being gay. No one is just claiming to be trans. It was the big thing with like the bathroom bill and all that. I'm like, I promise you, some creep is not putting a wig and makeup on and trying to be trans because they're going to get they're going to get insulted, made fun of, all the way walking to that bathroom, that they're going to be like, fuck, I'm not about to go through with this. Trans women put up with so much shit daily. I guarantee you, some perv trying to go in a bathroom is not about to put up with all that shit. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's very interesting.
I think by claim you were saying like identifying as a woman but not going through the transition.
Yeah. By just identifying but not actually going through T-blockers.
I think that's
a lot of
people.
Oh yeah. I know a lot of people who are trans mentally, who don't physically transition.
Right. So I'm thinking about like,
but a lot of them continue to live their life presenting as what they were born as.
I'm thinking about like from my daughter's perspective, if she's competing in an event or doing something and there's a trans who isn't taking that stuff, probably has a little more competitive advantage if they're not on the dosage of medication, the T-blockers and stuff like that.
Yes, I would say, but also the instance of that happening is probably so slim, because someone who's trans and hasn't transitioned physically, there's a reason they haven't transitioned physically, and so the chances of them coming out and wanting to compete as the gender that they identify with is so slim to me.
Very interesting. That's it's just so much news on it.
For sure.
People are scared about it, and they don't know.
People are scared to talk about it too, or people have certain opinions, all prefabricated opinions about stuff, and aren't just knowledgeable about it. I mean, until you know, and I mean, you could do all the research in the world, but everyone's transition is different. No two trans women transition the same. I mean, your level of estrogen and T-blockers is different than the next girl's level of estrogen and T-blockers. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's body reacts differently. I mean, it's not the same all around. It never will be.
Were you around during the decision making with your roommate? It's a huge decision, right?
I have been friends with her for probably 5 years now, a little over 5 years. Almost right when I first started drag is when I met her, and we've had that talk many times. But her dad is kind of older in age, and she was always scared that if he passed, that she wanted him to recognize her. And she thought that if she thought she wanted to wait till after he passed before she transitioned, because she didn't want to upset him or anything happened before that. And finally there came a point where, she just wasn't happy. And she's known for years and years that she was trans, but certain stuff was keeping her back from fully transitioning, and finally they just had that talk, and her dad is the coolest ever and was so supportive, and
Oh wow.
bought her first like human hair wig and
Awesome.
stuff, and yeah, it's great. And so now he said, like, now he says, you know, I'd be more ashamed of me dying and not getting to see you as your true self before I died.
Yeah.
Made me cry right now. That's deep. Oh man.
He was like, I'd feel bad, you know, if you didn't feel comfortable being your true self before I passed.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Did he know before? Or was that also her coming out a little bit? And
it is kind of like a second coming out. A lot of trans women come out as gay before they transition, because I guess being gay is still easier than being trans these days. So
I guess there is stages, hierarchy maybe, huh?
I mean, it's the same as like I said, oh, I'm bi before I came out as gay. I mean, I think there's like a lesser severity of coming out.
Well, it's just more abnormal than in society. Yeah.
I don't know if he knew. I mean, he's been gay. She was gay her whole life, leading up since I a big child. There was no coming out for her, but I'm not sure if he knew before she transitioned. But I'm sure he had an inkling. He's a very smart man.
That weight on her shoulders had to be tough. You know,
oh yeah, for sure.
Just trying to hold it in and not thinking about, not knowing what her father would, how it would react.
Think she.
You know?
I don't want to say I had a part to do with it, but I knew knowing him, he was gonna be fine. He's a really cool guy.
In your experience, aren't most parents okay with it?
In
this day and age, right?
Yeah.
In this day and age, it's definitely a lot more acceptable. But no, I don't even want to say acceptable. It's a lot more.
The news is not as shocking, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess like my parents' generation, when my dad was growing up, like I said, he had 2 gay brothers. Well, I've never met them because they both died of AIDS and the AIDS crisis. So, like, when I came out, like, my dad's biggest worry was, like, AIDS. And I was like, well, first of all, people don't have AIDS anymore, HIV, and it's treatable. AIDS is pretty much non-existent these days. And so first, it's a knowledge thing again. If you're not knowledgeable about it, there's such a stigma around, like, HIV and AIDS and stuff. So that was my dad's biggest worry when I came out, and I think that's a lot of people, like, from the kids, people my age coming out, their parents, like, probably experienced someone they loved, like, going through the AIDS crisis, if they knew anyone that was gay. So I think in this generation and the younger kids coming out, you're seeing a lot more people who don't have that, like, stigma attached to it, which is probably makes it a little easier for them.
Is that something that worries you, like HIV or?
Not in this day and age.
No.
Which, I mean, it's not something to take lightly, but I mean, we have PrEP, like, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis, which is a pill you take daily, that is like 99.9% prevents the transmission of HIV.
Oh, wow.
If you came in contact with someone. But then there's so many drugs of people that with HIV that are HIV positive, where you take it for 6 months, and if you took an HIV test, you would come back negative. But the drugs are so good, it's undetectable on a test. But you're still living with HIV. And I mean, yeah, you'll have to take pills for the rest of your life, but you're going to live a long, happy, healthy life just like you normally would.
Right.
So a lot of people in the community have it, and are they
probably more people than people you know, and you don't even know.
Don't scare me.
Well, I'm just saying it's not a gay disease; it's an everyone disease. I mean, it's everywhere, and a lot of people have it, but are, like I said, living perfectly normal, healthy, happy lives, and you would never know the difference.
Yeah, that's that ignorance that I have. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, that's like there was, like, in pop culture just recently. The baby. I don't know if you saw that stuff.
I didn't hear the news, but I know who DaBaby is.
He was performing at Rolling Loud this past weekend and made a comment about like, all you people without HIV and AIDS that showed up here, thank you, put your phones in the air or something.
Oh shit!
And
is that when someone threw a shoe at him?
I don't know. But
I saw a video.
Deserved it.
I saw one throw. Someone throw a shoe.
That's like, so it's brought up the whole like HIV topic again recently in pop culture because of his comments, and
it's a weird thing to say. That's very random.
Yeah,
to say,
so
right?
random.
Something had a
motive
to say that. Right?
Yeah, someone never.
You know
do you
too
know?
much.
Yeah, you seem like you know the deeds.
Austin knows too much.
No, but it's always the ones with the most to say that are the most closeted. So.
Oh really?
yeah, always. So, but it's brought that whole topic up again, and like the whole like end HIV stigma and stuff like that. Like U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable. That's the same thing. Like I said, if you're on medication for X amount of time, I mean, you take a test and it shows up negative, that's considered undetectable, which also means untransmittable. You can't give it to someone else once you're undetectable. So in a sense, I mean, you can't get it again and you can't give it to someone. You're like immune, you know?
Yeah.
It's the people who don't have it who are still looking out for it, you know?
Right.
Which is not to say that it's good to have it, but I'm just saying people who take care of themselves and are healthy and take their medication like they're supposed to, I mean, they're going to live a great, long, happy, healthy life and aren't going to give it to anyone else.
Yeah. Like 50 Cent says, safe sex is great sex. Right? No?
I'm gonna put some crickets in that one. I'm gonna put some crickets.
The gay community is real gross with that one. That's why we take PrEP.
Well, I thought the gay community was big on testing and all that stuff before.
Well, because of the
kind of like the porn industry.
Yeah, but I mean, well, then PrEP came out
industry.
and people kind of threw that out the window.
Okay. See, I didn't know about. Is it PrEP?
Yeah, PrEP is that pill you take daily, and it prevents the transmission of HIV from one person to another.
Okay.
Now you can still get gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, herpes.
Side effects may include.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's funny.
and a couple of those you can't cure. So.
Uh-oh. Gotta watch out for those.
That's funny.
I mean, yeah, you'll never.
This conversation's been fun. I've enjoyed it.
I know it has taken quite a few turns.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping.
I'm like,
Gotta turn
we
a little
scratched the little bit of a surface on so many topics.
Oh, this is good. This is what I wanted. We need to have you on again.
That would be great.
I want to know the future real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick, the future of Cyn City. Are you going to continue to name your events by your name?
Those choices weren't mine. The bars just
Oh,
did
come
that
on
'cause they're
now.
not very creative.
Damn.
So if you had all the money in the world or just enough money to fulfill your dream, what would it be? Would you rent out a warehouse and have your own place? What would you add? What would you do if you could just do anything you wanted and had full freedom?
Oh,
big question. I see fireworks in your
Yeah.
eyes.
I
Some
know,
like
I'm
pyrotechnics going off.
I'd probably do drag just for fun, not to pay the bills
And
anymore.
just keep the money.
I'd probably buy a house. And I'd probably open up my own business, my own event planning business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an event planner basically. I
That's
mean, you
what
can do
No, that is
anything.
my day job.
Why
That's
didn't
what
you
I
tell
do.
us that?
Well, because we started talking about drag. I didn't get into that. I do event planning and event designing
My number is 2255.
Monday through Sunday every week of the year.
So this comes naturally to you anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, you're a young buck, so what's the average
I
time
would
span in drag?
Well, for someone who's good at it, I mean, like I said, I see people go from their 60s to 70s. I mean, it's really taxing on the body. It's a lot of money. You almost never make back what you've put into it. Yeah.
I'm seeing the girls that do the jumping splits
Yeah.
are probably not gonna last a long time.
I didn't do any of that yesterday. Do you know how sore my body is today? How bad it aches? I didn't
Yeah.
want to get out of bed.
You can do it.
No, I'm saying I didn't do any of that last
Yeah.
night, but my body still hurts so bad.
Yeah.
Can you do
Can
it?
you do it?
No,
Please?
What is the one that
that's
you...
why I'm pretty.
Oh, here we go. There we go. What
Yeah.
is the famous drop where you like come up on one foot and then like what is it?
Well, universally they call it the death drop,
Yep,
but the correct term is a dip because it comes from the ballroom scene and it's called a dip.
It's like a spinning one, like where you spin and then drop it like you're kind of like that.
Yeah, one leg is bent and goes behind you and the other leg is straight and you drop flat to the ground.
Oh, okay.
It's like it looks like you're gonna break your leg.
Yeah, I've seen that like in cheerleading
Then you
and stuff,
don't.
I think.
I don't think you've seen
I
this.
know someone who has. Well, Shantala from RuPaul's Drag Race did in her performance, she did it and like broke both legs and both bones in her leg,
Almost threw up.
like snapped on stage.
Damn.
That was it was the
She
ender
went
though,
to
right?
she went to the hospital in full drag
Yeah.
and costume and everything. Yeah.
Wow.
She had surgery, has like metal rods in her leg.
Freaking titanium.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's quite an ender though, huh?
Huh? Oh,
That's
she's
quite
back now.
Well, no, that was you end on that move normally, don't you?
Oh, well, knowing her, it was probably just in the middle of her.
Oh, damn. Well,
Well,
a lot
Has
more
it been
learn.
an hour already?
it's been an hour, man. How can people find you, go to your shows? You got a website?
No.
Come on, man.
Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Don't follow me on Twitter.
Why not, why not Twitter?
Well, because I made a Twitter for social media publicity, blah blah blah, and then it just turned into a bunch of porn. Not me, not of me,
Not you,
but that's
someone
just
else,
Twitter
right?
in general. And I just keep liking stuff and retweeting stuff, and the next thing I know, my poor Twitter has no more drag on it.
Same as John's, I guess. So.
Yeah, I want to follow you.
My Instagram is
Cyn
See?
City?
Finally, someone doesn't know it.
Dang.
I don't
come
know
on,
it.
Austin, I'd figure you know this like
I just
Snap.
changed it to make it easier because all my stuff used to be marketed as the greatest sin, but I just changed all my stuff to CYN Cyn City HTX.
Cyn City. HTX.
Cyn City HTX.
HTX.
CYN City
What,
HTX.
what about event planning? How can I get hold of you for that? I don't know. Talk anymore.
I'm like, I'm not giving my phone number out on a podcast. You can email me at my work email, or you can visit our website, dmartinodesignGroup.com.
You have all that stuff on your Instagram too?
No, that's like my drag Instagram only.
You put a link tree on there. And,
I know, and
That'd be
put all
good.
my event stuff on there too.
Yeah.
We do weddings, we do corporate, we do birthday party, we do everything.
that's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Well, Austin, had a great time, man, and I appreciate you educating us because we're just two dummies here. So
Feel a little
No,
smarter today.
I know. Y'all
Feel
are
smarter.
great. Y'all are very receptive.
thanks, man. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.